Hello. I can't hear you, Rithi.
Yeah, it's visible. Screen is visible.
Okay, so let's start with the entire session. I hope you all are doing well and welcome to Understanding an Architect's Journey from India to Australia. I'll give you a little introduction about myself. I'm a graduate architect. I have 6 years of experience in India and I've recently got my PR for subclass 189, which allows me to work anywhere in Australia. I'm a registered architect in India. I go by the title architectural designer or documenter, and I'm also a founder of Accor Architects, which was an interior firm in India. There are different softwares we use as an architect, so I am very well equipped with these ones that I mentioned here. Also passionate about parametric design, sustainable architecture, and fabrication. I've done quite a few projects in aviation infrastructure, which is the Guwahati International Airport, commercial and retail stores like Walmart and Azort in India, automobile stores like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and residential villas. I have a lot of project work that I had done initially in 6 years of experience. Beyond the resume, I would like to give you a gist of why I took architecture, why I came to Australia, and how I'm going to help you all with everything. So I was a little curious and artistic as a kid. I was very imaginative, and I thought that I would get rid of maths. That's why I took architecture, which didn't really happen. I came to Australia because, yeah, the things we do for love is really stupid. But yeah, I tried to take a difficult path to come here. I didn't come on a partner's visa. I came on a skilled migration visa as an architect. How did I bridge this gap? I tried to plan a lot in advance. It took me around one and a half year before this. And yeah, ChatGPT also helped a lot. How to plan wisely would be very simple. You will have to go through the entire process step by step. If you want to do your master's or you want to do your PR, I will give you both the good and bad of both so you can decide for yourself at the end of the session. We will talk about whom we are going to do the session for. There are different types of occupations that can apply for PR as well as master's or bachelor's program. So we will talk about your degree programs, your permanent residency, the eligibility score required for PR, the English test, which is also required for your master's application for your bachelor's. There'll be a skill assessment review for your PR again, and a little bit about your portfolio. We'll try to see what works and what doesn't work. And I'll give you tips on how to apply for jobs as well as networking events. There's a quick poll at the bottom of the screen if you see, and you can put down your questions in the chat box, which I will take up at the end of the session. Let's begin with this session is designed for architects, interior designers, and draftsmen. Whoever is studying architecture or in a professional field will be very helpful to understand this entire map of how to transition from India to Australia. We will move forward by understanding what our degree programs are like, and we'll try to see the process and timelines, the expenses and the perks. So I've named a few of the universities below which help to give scholarship in Australia. So it might help you. You can obviously go to the website and have a look at it. But I've just named the universities which help a lot during scholarships. There is a very small period in scholarships, so you can try to apply a little faster. There's a very 1 or 2 month gap where you can apply for it. So yeah, just let me know if it's too fast for you all. I'll go a little slow. Okay. So the process and timelines begins for your master's or your bachelor's program. Whenever you want to apply, it starts from July. If you want to go for the March intake. So you make sure that the first step has to be researching your universities. You need to also shortlist what courses you're going to join, and it will take around 4 months for you to decide and apply for these universities. Since the next step will be obviously you need to prepare your documentation that starts from August to November. Then you have to prepare your passports, you'll have to prepare your EOIs. All of this has to be done with the help of a consultant. It will be very easy for you to understand these step by step during your process. Actually, when you meet a consultant, it will be easier for you to understand that. This is just a gist of how these steps move forward to get a course, maybe an entry in March intake. So the third step would be you start with your applications from September to December, but make sure you apply as soon as possible because October to January, the intake stop, like they will close the applications. And from November to January, you will start receiving your offer letters. And once you do that, you can start applying for your visa. So your student visa is subclass 500, which will take around 4 to 6 weeks of processing time. Once you get your student visa, you can start with your orientation preparation for your flight bookings and your accommodation. Around mid-March, the classes start, and it's easy for you to go ahead with the process of your college life after that. Let me take you through the expenses. I've tried my best to jot down a few pointers to understand the tuition fees, even in AUD as well as in Indian currency. So, all of these expenses will add up to a final cost of 52 to 79,000 AUD. That would be around 29 to 44 lakhs. Make sure that all of this has been already planned with your consultants. When you're flight booking tickets and all of that will take a lot of time because you need to see the season of booking as well as the expense. So make sure as soon as you get your visa, you can apply for your flight tickets. So moreover, moving, I think all of these slides will be shared with you all, so you all can go through it personally to understand the visa fees, the overseas student health cover, everything. Yeah. So the perks of getting a degree in Australia would be you'll be having a globalized recognized degree. It's really a good thing to have. And while you work here, you'll obviously get a lot of perks of working and studying here. So there's 28 hours of working hours every fortnight. And post-study working rights are obviously there for students who come here on the student visa. So for bachelor's degree, you have around 2 to 4 years of post-work experience. Like you can take your experience after studying. And for masters, it is 3 to 5 years. For PhD students, it will be 4 to 6 years. And if you're studying in a regional state, you will get 1 or 2 years extra after your graduation. The pathways to PR also open up. You'll get a lot of strong industry links because you will make a lot of networking. You will try to take up projects during your college. So obviously you will build a lot of good networking and you can even join networking events over here in Australia, which, maybe increase the process faster of getting a better job. And yeah, we also have access to healthcare and a good lifestyle and cultural diversity in Australia. So once you come here, you'll not want to go back, I feel. So it would really help you all to understand how the entire master's process or bachelor's process works. Moving forward, I will take you to the permanent residency part where you understand why it's better to come as a permanent resident. We'll understand the types of visas, the process and time and expense that is there. There are four different types of visas that you can get. One is the skilled migration program, the employer sponsor, the business and investment, and the family and partner. I could have easily taken the family and partner visa, but I tried to come on my own and I got the 189 visa, which is the skilled independent visa. Moving forward, there are three types of visas in migration. Skilled migration, where we have 189 as a skilled independent visa, where you can apply and work anywhere in Australia, which is a very good thing. If you plan to change from Sydney to Melbourne, you will still be eligible to work over there. When you have a subclass 190, it's a state nominated visa. You're specifically applying to a certain state. If I'm in India and I've already thought about it, I want to work in Sydney or Melbourne, I will specifically apply to those states and they will give me the visa. So there are perks even when you apply for state nominated visa. And subclass 491 is a regional visa where you will not go to any big cities. You will work in a regional place for 3 years and only then you will be allowed to go to another city. So that's what subclass 491 visa is, which is very easy to get because it's a regional place. There's not a lot of population there, so they tend to hire people easily over there. And also, every year, Australia has this occupation list that comes out. You can go on the website I've mentioned here, Immigration of Home Affairs, and look at the occupation list. If there is architect on the list, You can apply for any of these visas mentioned in the skill migration. So I hope it's clear, and if you have any questions, we can obviously take it up moving forward. I'll just go ahead. So yeah, the process and timeline, it obviously takes a lot to understand the entire process of how to apply for a PR and how to actually get a PR. So initially, it takes around 2 weeks to fix a consultant. Once you are okay with your consultant, you have a good rapport with them, you understand like how they'll tell you the entire pathway. Once you have fixed on your consultants, they will give you the eligibility score specifically for you. I will explain the eligibility score criteria in the next slide. We require around 65 to 85 points as an architect, interior designer, or a draftsperson. So make sure you at least get 65 to 85 points. Only then you can apply for your EOI, that is your expression of interest. Moving forward, we need the English language proficiency, which would around 2 to 3 months for preparation. And once you give that, only then you can apply for your expression of interest again. Usually, people who have already given their IELTS or PT academics, it lasts for 2 years, so you don't have to give it again. If you've already given it last year, you can still apply with it this year. There are a lot of coaching options that you can go through online. You'll get a lot of coaching assistance for these courses. There's a skill assessment test that happens only for designs like licensed architects, for doctors, occupations like those. There are because it's a skilled migration program, you need to show that you have skills. For an architect, we have to go through the AACA Association, that is the Architectural Council in Australia. They do an interview process. For interior designers, you'll have to do another exam that they have to pass. And for draftsmen, it is with another code. Each of these codes have different exams for different occupations. So you can get all of this information on your immigration account on the website. We'll talk about how to make a portfolio for AACA, which took around 2 to 6 months to build the entire portfolio. Again, the expression of interest will depend on whenever these above tasks have been done. So all of this, if you're finishing within 6 months, you can apply for your EOI. If it's taking around 8 months, you will apply after 8 months. As soon as you apply for your EOI, you will get a grant from the government. That grant takes around 6 to 12 months. Once the grant comes, you can then apply for your visa, which is your PR. So the entire process takes around 1.5 years. Expenses have been included in this. The total expense, if I'm coming as a single person on my PR, it will take around 5 lakhs. Whereas your student loan and your college fees, everything was around 29 to 40. So obviously you will have to think and plan wisely if you want to come on your PR or you want to come bringing so much of loan. Again, if you come as a couple, it's around 7 lakhs. And if you have couples and you have a kid, 2 kids, you can come on a PR on with 9 lakhs with your family. So looking at the perks, you have full working rights, so it's very easy for you to come here and look for a job. People usually tend to hire when they have PR. They'll not want somebody on a student visa or on a temporary visa. So yes, you have a upper hand in that. Obviously, as I mentioned, no tuition fees, no loans, Medicare access since day one. As soon as you come here, you're free medical access. You have pathway to citizenship. You have to be on PR for 4 years, then you can apply for citizenship. There are schooling benefits for kids, greater job security, and you can sponsor your family once you get the PR. So, what would be your opinion? Moving forward, I'll explain the criteria and eligibility points. Understand eligibility points, we require 65 points for a regional visa, which is not in the city. You'll have to spend 3 years in a regional state place, and only then you can come to a city. So 65 points for that, 80 plus points for 189 visa, and 85 plus for 190 state visa. These three pairs, you can go through this entire chart that I have put down for you. You'll get this online as well, and your consultant will look at these criteria, give you a score, and understand your eligibility. If you're in the age of 25 to 32, you get 30 points. If you've done your bachelor's or master's, you will get 15 points. If you have 3 to 4 years of experience, you will get 5 points. So this is how the criteria works. You need to get these scores and apply for the EOI, the expression of interest. If you will have any doubts, we will discuss it in the coming slides. The IELTS and PT score. There are 4 modules in this test. It's an English language proficiency, so you will have to have speaking, writing, reading, and listening. In all of these, you will have to score 79 plus points for PTE to get 20 points for your EOI. Like I mentioned it in the slide, if you see, or it has to be PTE 79 plus for 20 points. So that's how you do it. And if you ask me if IELTS is easier or PT is easier, I would obviously say PT is easy because it's a computer-based program. It's a test. IELTS is more like a person evaluates your marks, so it's a little dicier and you need to score 8 in all modules. So it's a little risky. I would suggest to go for PTE instead. Moving forward, we will look at the AACA skill assessment test. This is the test for architects, which goes through the Council of Architecture in Australia. There are 3 rounds in this. They will be addressing 13 questions related to the topics of design. Make sure that you talk about your climate, sustainability, construction, project management. All of these things will add up to your portfolio as well. Make sure you put projects in your portfolio that have these topics involved and mentioned in them. And during your interview round, you also have these 13 questions that have been addressed initially in your first round. Make sure you talk about these 13 questions and your portfolio simultaneously. So you make sure that you're talking about construction drawings and technical detailing. You're showing them in your portfolio that these are the construction documents that you have worked on. In case you don't have experience, like if it's not a live project and it is a college project, you can talk about the process of how you've started designing it and what is the end product. Don't just show them the end product. They want to see the process, they want to see your learning. So make sure you add that in your portfolio as well. These are just tips for your portfolio. Some do's and don'ts that I struggled with. Always follow the AACA guide, that is these 13 criteria that are mentioned about design, planning, and everything. You stick to that and you will not go wrong. Again, you'll have to explain your role. If you're a working architect or a professional interior designer, you will have to explain your role in the project and don't exaggerate it. So make sure you're very specific about the technical skills that have been used. You need to mention the softwares that you have been using to develop that, to develop the entire design. It shouldn't be a very blur font or, don't put so many images in it. Make sure it's a very crisp and concise portfolio. Do not copy projects from somebody else's work. That would be a red flag. Always show that you've learned something from the project instead of just talking good about it. You can also say that, we failed in this and this is how we learned about it. So talk about failures as well. They like it. And understand that you're professional enough to understand that everything is not perfect. So things go wrong. And how do you correct it? How do you find a solution to it? That's your learning process. So make sure you talk about that and put that in your portfolio. That helps a lot. The last thing that we would talk about today is the job and upscaling. How do you find jobs? How do you network over here in Australia? It's a little different from what we do in India. So just understanding the cities. Sydney is fast, and you understand it's like Mumbai. There's a lot of population, a lot of competition. So finding a job is not easy in Sydney. Whereas in Melbourne, it's still developing. There are better job opportunities there because it's like Bangalore. It's coming up now. And Perth is like a little laid back, like Pune, which would be like, you will get a job very easily over there. So these are just few insights from what I have looked up in job search applications. Moving forward, the technical skills, I have done a course from Carva, which is a Revit and BIM Autodesk certification course. I would suggest everybody should do it because Revit, BIM, and ArchiCAD are the three main softwares used in Australia today. There are other rendering softwares that they use, that is Enscape, Twinmotion, D5. Mostly they will obviously ask you, since you're an architect or a interior designer, they will ask you for Revit and BIM. So make sure you are thorough with these softwares before you come here. Professional development, I personally did the course with the co-architecture graduate program, which was a 4 week course and around, costed me around 65 to 70K. This helps to understand the Australian standards, the NCC, BCA codes. They help you build your personality, your professional CV, your portfolio. They will tell you where to correct it as per Australian standards and how to apply and target firms. That course helped a lot for me to understand the culture and the job networking events in Australia. Further, the events you can attend, a lot of LinkedIn connects will help you out. Reach out to people, even though they are CEOs or managers, you can directly reach out to them on LinkedIn and they will reply. Tell them, hey, I'm new to the city and I just want to know how the work culture is. They will get back to you on that. Networking events really help when you go out, meet people, share your LinkedIn ID and tell them what kind of work you're interested in. Maybe if there is a job opportunity they hear about, they'll think of you. That's how you get a job in Australia. In case you'll have any further doubts, I'm always available on LinkedIn. You can hit me up and I can take you through all these steps and guide you to getting your PR or your degree program, however I can help. And I think we're open to questions now.
Hey everyone. Thank you, Esha, for such an amazing and insightful session. And for all the participants, chat box is now open. You can post your queries and questions related to the Australia thing. This is your chance to ask Isha questions live. In the meantime, you guys are posting your questions. Me and Isha will address the pre-recorded questions which you guys have submitted during the registration form. So, if Isha, if you can just come live over video, so me and you can have a one-on-one session. Sure.
Yes.
There are a few questions which students asked, and they're really important to address for us. Anshika has asked, how can I raise my own financial support while doing bachelor's so I can support masters abroad without feeling the guilt of using my parents' money?
So, yeah, if you're coming to Australia on your degree program, you will have to take student loan. If you are taking a loan or regardless your parents are supporting you and you want to repay them, you can work in Australia for 48 hours. So I've mentioned that every fortnight, and you can try to save as much as possible and give it back to them probably if you're not taking the loan.
Okay. The follow-up question which she asked is, how can I build a strong portfolio to get into a good uni for masters abroad with scholarship?
So, like I mentioned, if you need a scholarship, make sure you're applying between August and September for these programs because the earlier you apply, the faster you've been seen and selected for the scholarship. You need to make sure your portfolio and your expression of interest is on point. They need to know you're a genuine, like, you don't have to just copy paste from ChatGPT. You have to make sure they know your personality and why you are so interested in doing the course. What would change for you if you do the course? You need to give those pointers. So it would help you better. And obviously, portfolio or do's and don'ts I've mentioned already.
Okay, we have few questions in the chat box. So Trusha's asked, when applying for the applied migrant visa, are academic IELTS considered? Can we use these scores if we have already taken them?
Yes, you can use it if it's only, I think, 2 years validity is there. So if you have given it last year, it is valid this year as well. You can apply with the same score. Make sure to check the date of the exam. 2 years after that, it's valid. Within that time frame, you can apply for it.
Next up, we have Huma Parvez, can we apply for multiple visas at the same time or only the specific one? What if one of it get rejected? Should we apply again? That may probably extend the duration of application.
So that's a very good question. I had applied for both the visas. I had applied for 189 migration visa as well as 190 state migration visa, and I got the grant and invite for both of them. I personally chose the 189 because then I can, whenever I want, I can change my location and go elsewhere. Yes, you can apply for multiple visas. I would suggest don't go for the regional visa. Usually, consultants will guide you towards going for a regional visa because it's easier to get. But the thing is, in regional places, job for architects and interiors are not very good. You will not get a job in that profession. You will have to work as something else and stay in that place for 3 years. Then you can come to a major city and then start with architectural job search. So, it is a 3 year gap in between, which I wouldn't suggest anybody to do.
Okay. Next, we have Chaitanya with us. For IELTS Academic, the band 7 is overall or for individual module.
So overall, it has to be above 7 and 8 for individual. Even if one of the modules is less, you will not get the 20 points. Make sure all the 4 modules have above 7 to 8 points.
Got it. Okay, next one is quite interesting. Asked by Ritik, ma'am, can you review my resume over email?
Sure. Send it to me. I will definitely do
So, Ritik, you can connect with Isha over LinkedIn. She'll definitely connect with you over there and you can ask her over there. Next up, we have should we do the upskilling course prior to assessment by the AACA, or are there added preparations that can be done after getting the visa?
These are added preparations you can do after you get the visa or the PR. Initially, if you're really interested that you're definitely sure you want to go abroad, you can even do it prior to this. It's an online course that you can do from India. I have done it from India itself.
What other countries are good for masters abroad, Anshika?
So I would say US, UK, Australia, these 3 countries are good for architecture. If you want to save up on money and not go for a master's program or a bachelor's program, go through a PR and come here after you've got a good experience. So I've saved a lot of money by not doing master's over here. I've directly come here on a PR and I'm going to get a job.
And added up to that Anshika's question, we have already covered master's session on UK, US, Canada, and those are available on our YouTube channel. I'll be dropping the links soon over there. You can get the session recordings where we have covered all the visa, career paths, everything over there. So those session we have done like previously this month itself. Okay, moving on. Can I do a job while pursuing masters? Are there applicants work for us?
Yes, you can do a job, but it's mostly like an internship program that you will have to look for. If you get a job, that will be limited time. And normally they don't hire for temporary or part-time roles in Australia. They look for full-time roles. So you would get an internship probably, or you can help in assisting your professors for any live projects.
Masters in USA versus Australia, which one has better credibility?
The university name speaks for itself, even if you do it from US or Australia, depending on where you want to settle down and if you're okay with the cost of living there. I would say that you prepare in such a way, look for what kind of roles you would be applying for and what kind of salary base it is. Will it sustain better in US or will you be sustainable in Australia? You can see it that way.
The PhD route to PR is very different from the bachelor's or master's. Could you share some light there?
I didn't hear your question. Can you repeat?
So the question is the PhD route to PR is very different from the bachelor's or master's. Could you share some insights on that?
Yeah, the PhD route is a little different. You will have to do a lot of research and documentation process before applying for that. So I would not be the right person, but a consultant would guide you better in that case. They know how to target universities and what kind of expression of interest has to be given to certain universities. So if you're going through a PhD and you still want to look for scholarships, there are universities that do that.
Okay. So for Ritik, as I suggested, you can text her over LinkedIn. Just send her a connection request. She will coordinate over you for contact details over there. And she's also available on our Inside community. You can ask her questions in our Q&A group as well. She's there. Isha is there, has already joined our Inside community there. Okay, will my previous work experience in India be considered if I get the PR and job option, or will I be considered as a fresher?
Obviously, the experience matters. They ask for local experience though, so my suggestion would be even if you are in India, try to work on Australian projects through MNCs or something like that who work on international projects. Try to do a lot of Australian projects. When you come here, you can tell them that you have local experience. You don't have to tell them you have worked from India. You just tell them that I have worked on Australian projects. So those are local projects, so it helps.
Okay. Is your experience, in your experience, what makes an international graduate stand out when applying for their first job in Australia?
So there are perks when you do your master's or your bachelor's in Australia and you're applying from here versus if you have experience in India and you're applying for here. But there are perks in both cases. So if I have a PR, the company would want somebody who has a PR and not on a temporary base. Whereas students, they have a upper hand that they have the degree, but they don't have a proper visa. So it depends on the company how they select. But for me, I would say that if you want to stand out, be very honest with them. Even when you're drafting an email, tell them why you're interested in their work, what kind of projects they do, and if it aligns with what kind of projects you want to do in the future. You just have to be very honest and things will work out for you.
Okay, next, we have a quite interesting question. Are architects losing jobs due to AI? If yes, what should I prepare for?
No, architects are not losing jobs due to AI. In fact, AI is helping architects to design faster. It's actually a tool. It's not going to replace you because you have your brains, you have to put in your work. AI is just going to make it easier for you.
Next up, we have, can we secure a PR in Australia and then choose to get there later due to any personal reason? Parallel question, can we go for a master's or PhD in another country after securing an Australian PR?
So after securing an Australian PR, you can go for another bachelor's program or master's program in a different country. That is fine. But if you want to go for citizenship after your PR, you have to make sure that you're in Australia for 4 years. Only then you're eligible to apply for citizenship. So if you don't want the citizenship, you can just take the PR and you can go in any other country to study. That's fine.
Snehal is asking, what can Indian students still in their bachelor start doing now in terms of portfolio skills or mindset to prepare themselves for a master's and career in Australia?
You've started with your bachelor's, you're still in a very good zone. You can take your own time. You have 5 years. Just make sure you're up to date with the skills that have been used in Australia. Like I mentioned, the Revit, BIM, these software, ArchiCAD. These are the softwares which they use intensively over here. So just make sure for now, like since you're in your bachelor's, these skills are good enough for you to, apply for any master's program in future. And also, if you have something specific, like a specific course you want to do for your master's, like maybe you want to go for landscape or you want to do something. So make sure your thesis topic is something related to that. So you can show them that you are really interested in doing the course.
Okay. In the meantime, people are posting more questions. Let's jump back to the previously questions which we had. So, Prachi had asked, how can I start exploring internships? As I want to start, what roadmap should I apply in my daily schedule to be different from everyone? How can I aim to go abroad?
So if you're in India and you want to go abroad, the entire process starts in June. You can do that at any point. But if you want to be one step ahead, make sure your portfolio is really good. Put in projects, don't just show renders, show detailed work. They like technical drawings. They like a lot of process work, the learning that I told you all. show them that you did something wrong and how you learned and tried to solve it. So you show that in your portfolio. Maybe you can just show how it started and how it ended. Just show small clips of model process, whatever it is, you show it on your portfolio. That stands out for them.
Okay, so we have another question from Sapita. I am a MR graduate from Nepal with 2 years of working experience, currently looking for internship to understand the work culture of Australia. How should I start and where can I find the internship opportunities?
There are a lot of internship programs in Australia. If you all get in touch with me, I can share it with you all. But the only thing is, hiring somebody international is a little difficult because there are a lot of graduate architects over here who apply for the internships and they get it easily. So I would suggest you do a course here and then apply for an internship. If you're in India, my suggestion would be to get into an MNC firm or some firms that work on international projects and try to gain experience from Australia projects or from UK, US projects. Like depends on where you want to settle down.
Great. Next, we have question from Anusha. Is construction project a good course for masters if I want to get into management side of architecture?
Project management courses are really booming in Australia now because there are a lot of architects, interior designers, but site engineers, civil managers, all of these are upscaling, and you need to go for these opportunities. I feel it's a good program.
Got it. Uh, One last question from the previously submitted question is, I am 25 right now, and is it too late for me to think about switching to a different country in my career?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's never too late. I am 32 and I shifted this year, so age is never going to be a factor. In fact, build your resume so strong that even when you're 40, you can come to this country or any other country. So age is never a factor. Just need to plan. That's it.
So, Huma is asking, is it possible that some sample portfolio is shared with us?
Yeah, definitely. If you want, I can drop in some on the group. You can
Okay.
have a look at it.
So we can have these questions directed to Q&A group where you guys can ask your questions. And for ETRD session every weekend, how do I? So basically, all the session updates are being first priority to our insiders who join our WhatsApp community before posting on any other social media. Next question we have: are there any Australian firms or multinational architecture practices that you suggest have a presence in India where students could gain experience?
There are firms like WD Partner. I worked in WD, so I know that. There's Dar in Pune, who has a lot of experience with Australian projects. Then there is, if you want to go to UK, there is Ratan Sob architecture firm in Worli. So you can ping me, I can give you a list of firms in that case. In specifically Australia, it will be better because they have a lot of Australian projects.
Okay. Last question for today's session. Can you share your experience with the job search in Australia since you said it's only been 1 month for you there?
So it's been 1 month for me here since I've come. It's not, yeah, it's not even a month. I came here on the first. So I would say that it's been good for me because I have a lot of experience in different project sectors like commercial, residential. Make sure you know all the type of work so that it's easier for you to come here and apply for a lot of firms. Mostly they like to do residential projects because there's a lot of migration and construction in residential. The problem is the architecture and the interiors which we study in India is not comparable to Australian standards, and the codes are different. You'll have to learn and relearn again. So make sure that you work on at least commercial projects, retail projects. This would help you. And I've got like every week, I think I have 1 or 2 interviews lined up. So since I have a lot of experience, it has helped me get these interviews at least.
Good. So that's the end of this session, and thank you for the lovely feedback you are sending the love for Isha. And I hope the session made so insightful that Isha is also enjoyed a lot. So would you like to share your feedback about
Yeah.
final quick tips and what students should look after. Is Australia actually a right choice or not?
So yes, I definitely feel Australia has been a right choice for me personally. Y'all should consider it in case y'all, are looking for something in a lower budget because US is and UK. UK you don't get jobs nowadays, so people are coming back from UK. But yeah, US and Australia I think are better. I really enjoyed this session and thank you so much. If you have any other questions or doubts, I'm always available on LinkedIn. You can ping me there. I'll take you through it and I'll help as much as possible because I didn't have that help. I would love to help anyone who comes my way.
Jen has also shared her feedback that, ma'am, you must be really awesome architect. Even your answers are so well structured. Thank you for the session. And thank you, Nitin has said, thank you so much for the insightful session, ma'am. Have sent a request on LinkedIn. Please accept. Already shared with you, Isha. I feel like you might have got many connection requests now. Thank you, ma'am. Finally had a productive weekend. Kudos to you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. That's a wrap. Thank you, Isha, for joining us. Hosting this session was quite engaging, and I really loved to host this today. This is actually a productive weekend as well. I hope you had also had a good experience hosting this with us, and there's a strong community we are building, and we are happy to have you there as well. Thank you, everyone. That's a wrap for today. For all the
Thank you.
questions you want to ask Isha, we can join our Q&A group in the Insyd community. She is there. She can address your questions over here, and you can also pin her over LinkedIn if you want anything personalized for you. And all the event updates, latest jobs internship in AIC field, and getting to know what new materials coming in the industry, join our community. Everything is being posted over there, and you can just fill a feedback form. We will be sharing that with Isha as well, so that she get also know how the session was and what's the feedback is here for us. Next, you can check out Insyd and join us over there. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Make sure you join the WhatsApp community. All right, everyone, that is officially a wrap. Keep this amazing energy and all your great questions going in the community. Until next time, thank you, everyone, for joining in. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you.